Hi guys, welcome back to Pikama Stitches. Today I'm going to show us how to make this boo-boo dress with rolled up collar. Okay, so if you're interested in this tutorial, kindly watch to the end. Okay, thank you guys. So I have my fabric on a fold of 4. We're cutting both front and back piece together. So from the folded part, I'm going to be marking 3 inches for our neck width for now, and then the back neck depth, I'm just marking 1 inches. The front neck depth is 3 inches, but later I'm going to be altering this. Okay, this is just a guide. For a slim person, do 3 inches. For a plus size, you can do 3.5 for the neck depth. Okay, both front and back. Then at this opened part, I'm going to be coming down by 1.5 inch for our shoulder slant, and then I'm connecting it this way. Can you see what we have here? Okay, so after connecting your lines, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to determine your sleeve opening, but you won't be marking your exact sleeve opening. Okay, so remember, we're going to be adding an elastic, so you need enough space, not just your normal round sleeve opening. Okay, so I marked 19 inches. You can do 19 or 20 inches, so you can have enough ruchness for your elastic and your sleeve. Okay, for my normal sleeve opening, 11 inches is okay for a plus size, but because of the elastic we're going to be attaching to it, okay, we want it to have more puffy effect. I marked 19 inches, and then you connect it into a straight line. Now at that your 19 inch or 20 inch mark, you're going to be marking your round bust measurements divided by 4, and you add 4 or 5 inches to it. Now if your hip is bigger than your bust, use your hip circumference divided by 4 and add 4 or 5 inches to that, and you're going to be connecting what you have all the way straight to the hem of your dress. Now since I'm working with Ankara, the length of this dress is 45, so I'm working with 45 inch length. So from that point, I'm connecting all the way down, and I'll go ahead to curve out this part in order to connect to our sleeve. Can you see what we have? I connected it straight down to the hem. Now it's for us to go ahead and cut this out. Now for this neckline, I'm cutting out the back neckline first. Okay, but you can go ahead and cut the front neckline because I later adjusted it to the front neck depth. I used 3 inches 3 by 3 for both the front and the back. Okay, so you can go ahead and use that. Make sure to add half of an inch at the shoulder slope, okay, for joining of both shoulders, and then go ahead to cut the remaining part. Sorry guys about the noise. So just go ahead and cut out the rest of the parts of this dress just the way you see me do. Okay, go ahead and cut it out. So for this style, I used 2 yards and 33 inches of Ankara fabric. Okay, so this is everything I have. So the parts that I had cut out is what I'm going to also use for the roll-up collar. Okay, so if you have 3 yards, you can still use it if you're making a short length, but if you want just longer, okay, you need more than 3 yards of fabric depending on your height. Okay, so once I'm done cutting, I've gone ahead to align the sleeves. I'm going to open this up, and we're going to place this right sides facing each other, so that the adjustments we're going to be doing on the neck area, remember the neck is more or less like a slanted neckline. Okay, so go ahead and place them right sides facing each other to avoid mistakes. So on one part of the neck width, okay, just the way you see, you're going to, so you can choose to be on the left hand or on the right hand side. So you can go ahead and mark 3 inches or 4 inches, but I marked 4 inches from the neck width of the left hand side of my dress. I hope this is clear. And I'm going to connect that 4 inch back to the neck depth, okay, with half of an inch, making this 1.5 inch. I will still reduce it some more. That's why I said you should go ahead and cut out your 3 inches neck depth for both front and back. But if you want the back neck depth to be higher, you can leave it at 1 inch and only increase the front neck depth to 3 inches for a slim person. For a plus size, please do 3.5 inches so it won't be choking on the person's neck. Remember, we'll add a rolled up collar to this. I hope this is clear. So now the width is wider, that's why it's more like an off the shoulder. It has that off the shoulder effect. I hope this is clear. So at this point, I'm going ahead to adjust the neck depth, okay, to my 3 inches, because I want the same neck depth for both the front and the back, okay, but now it's wider. I hope this is understandable. So after this, the next thing you're going to do is to join both shoulders with 1/2 inch and go ahead and hem your sleeve opening. Now after hemming your sleeve opening, you're going to be passing in your elastic. You can go ahead and measure what you measured on yourself or your client's round sleeve and cut it. You subtract 3 inches from that and cut on your elastic, or you put it round your client's sleeve or yourself if you're making for yourself, and add some ease and cut it out. Now after folding the sleeve, okay, you're going to insert your elastic. Remember, you're cutting 2 of this elastic for the both sleeve. You hem it, insert your elastic, then you go ahead and shape the sides. Okay, I'll do all of that and show us what we have. So guys, I've gone ahead to insert the elastic, and you see it has made the sleeve puff up some more. Okay, I attached it on both sides and I've gone ahead to sharpen the bodies. Okay, and now we're going to be working on the collar aspect, the neck depths. Okay, so now we're going to measure this round to confirm what we have. So when measuring, remember this fabric is, we have front and back. So what I measured on this part is 15 inches. Okay, can you see? So 15 for the front, 15 for the back, that's 30 inches. So we're going to be cutting a width of 30-inch fabric. Okay, so this is the fabric I had left. I had to join it. Okay, this part is the folded part and this is the open part. So I have 2 pieces of this. Okay, one will serve as the main piece and one will serve as the lining piece. Okay, I want it to be the same fabric. We use it to turn it. Okay, so now that this folded part, you're going to measure the length of your rolled up collar. So I'm measuring 5 inches. Okay, that's the length I want for my rolled up collar. Now from that 5-inch mark, we're going to be marking that 15 inches that we measured on the neck. Remember, this fabric is on fold, so this 15, when you open it up, is going to give us 30, which is what we need for both front and back. And now go ahead to add 1/2 inch to that, because you're going to sew up those edges, okay, to avoid shortage. Mark the same 5 inch at this open part as well and connect it into a straight line. Can you see what we have? Now after marking it, in order to get that effect, okay, that we had at the tip of the collar, the rolled up collar, you will determine how long you want this to be. Now this is the whole fabric I have left. What I have here is 7 inches, so I'll make do with that. But if you want yours to be more dramatic, more pronounced, you can do up to 9 inches or more. Okay, so I'll just manage what I have. Now from that 1/2 inch I added, I'll connect to the tip of my fabric just the way you see me do, and then I'll go ahead to cut this off. Now I'm going to add 1/2 inch again to this 5 inch we marked, because after stitching it up, I want my rolled up collar to be 5 inches. So 1/2 inch is for sewing allowance. I hope this is clear. So go ahead and cut yours out. If you don't want yours to be this long, you can make it 4 inches. It's fine. So this is what we have. So after cutting it out, you're going to see I'm going ahead to straighten up that part. I'm taking out my pins now. So I'll open this up to show us. So can you see I have 2 of this. We'll be using one to turn the other piece as well. Okay, so one serves as lining, one serves as the main piece. You're going to place them right sides facing each other, and you're going to be stitching that curved part. Okay, watch where I'm pointing. Okay, stitch from that part all the way to the other part. So I'll do that and bring this back to show us what next to do. Bring it out from this other part. So after stitching this up and flipping it from the other part outwards. Can you see what we have? It's neatly done. Can you see what we have here? So the next thing you're going to do, you're going to open up the neckline of your dress this way. You're going to open it up. Now for us to attach this collar, you're going to be placing the right side of your rolled up collar on the wrong side of your fabric, the main piece, your dress. Okay, so let me take this again. The right side of your rolled up collar on the left side of your main piece. Okay, so I've notched the midpoint of this my collar, so that midpoint will rest at the shoulder seam of one side of your dress. Okay, it will rest right at the shoulder seam on the wrong side of your main fabric. Okay, so after placing it there, we want to confirm if what we measured was actually correct. So I'm going to be placing it, the open part, okay, of your rolled up collar. I'm placing it all the way to the other shoulder seam to see if what I have is correct. And at that point, what I have there is actually correct. So you're going to take note of the opening. When you flip it over, this is what you will have. Okay, so remember we didn't sew up this other part of our rolled up collar, so we'll go ahead now to sew it up. So for us to sew it, I've put my collar back on fold. Now once it's on fold, I'll mark my same 15-inch. okay, after marking it, I'm going to notch that point. I'm marking it on the other side of the fabric as well. Go ahead and make a notch at that point. It will make stitching it around the neckline very easy for you. So I'm going ahead to make a little notch at that point, just the way you see me do. Can you see what we have? So after making the notch, you're going to open up this part. Okay, you're going to turn it the way you see me do and stitch it up with 1/2 or 1/4 of an inch and stop at that notch that you made. Repeat the same thing at the other opening of your rolled up collar. I'll do that and show us what we have. So this is what we have. Can you see this part and this other part? Can you see the notch? The notch is out there. So we're going to be attaching this now to our neckline. Can you see? You place them together to ensure that the extended part of your rolled up collar is equal, everything is matching perfectly, and make sure the midpoint of your rolled up collar is notched. So we'll bring back our fabric. Remember, the right side of your rolled up collar on the wrong side of your main piece. Bring the midpoint of your rolled up collar, match it to the shoulder seam, okay, on the wrong side of one of the shoulder seams, just the way you see me do. Please watch this part carefully. Okay, you can use your pin and pin it down. Now at this point, we're going to cross check as well to be sure that what we measured is accurate. Okay, so I'll use my pin to match up the rolled up collar with the dress. Please, sorry guys about the noise. So go ahead and place it this way. Pin it all the way to the other side of the shoulder. When you get to the other side of the shoulder, the flap, okay, is just going to fall on the other side. So this is the other shoulder joining. Can you see? And you see that 1/2 inch notch that we made just rests perfectly there. And when you flip this over, this is what you have. Now from that same shoulder seam you started sewing for the other part, you're going to repeat the same thing round back to the other part of the shoulder. Okay, I hope this is clear. You're going to repeat the same thing back to the other part. Can you see it's aligned? So you stitch it and flip it over, and this is what you're going to have. Can you see how neat it is? You're going to go ahead and search this part, and everything falls on the other side of the shoulder, and we are done with our rolled up collar. It's as easy as that. So if this tutorial has been helpful, please kindly hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more interesting tutorial. Okay, this is so cute and my clients really loved this dress. So the next thing you're going to do is to go ahead and hem the lower part of your dress. Go ahead and fold it 1/4 of an inch and 1 inch again. And that's all for this tutorial. So thank you guys for stopping by. I hope you learned 1 or 2. Till I see you guys next time. Bye bye.